Here's my review of the Vention Dashpro series 140W GAN charger. This is an interesting charger. I received it about 2 weeks ago and I've been testing it in different scenarios that fits my usage. So in the package itself, you have the charger and it comes with a 240W rated cable. This charger supports most of the protocol you have in the market, like your PD 3.1, PPS, as well as UFCS. So what does it mean in a real world setting? So let me fit in the charger. It comes with this retractable head. So I'm using a ZenBook. So ZenBook itself, using this charger, you're able to draw out to about 65 watts, to a maximum of 65 watt via PD 3.1. For my main phone, which is a Samsung phone, you can easily hit about the maximum of 65 watts via the PPS protocol. Then there comes an interesting question. I'm also using some of these Chinese phones which uses their proprietary charging technology. So I'm using the Vivo, which I'm using to record. It uses its proprietary charger, which is charging at 90 watts. Using the Vention charger, you cannot hit 90 watts. Nevertheless, it activates the PPS protocol, which allows it to charge a respectable 35 watts maximum. So it's pretty decent. And for iPhones, right, or your Apple iPads, you can easily achieve a sub 35 watt using this charger, which is, I think, decent. This charger itself, I think there are a couple of reasons why I like it. The first reason is definitely the form factor. So this is a 140W charger. The ability to fold the heads is an important consideration for me because it makes it even more compact. Right? Let me bring in, for example, the older chargers. Let's say, for example, the older chargers like this, something like this from Apple. It's probably only about 10 watt. And then later days, you start to use chargers like this, which is about 100 watts. And the size itself is comparable. And if let's say I were to compare it with a more recent time, you have chargers like this, which is 140 watts. This is also a smart charger. However, the size is much bigger. And the head cannot be compact like this. Having a head that compact like this is very useful because you're able to pack into your luggage or into your laptop case easily. And this size is wonderful. So, which is why form factor is definitely a good consideration for me. And on top of that, it comes with 3 USB-C and 1 USB-A. You just need to take note that the first 2 USB-C, C1 and C2 enables you to charge higher power device. The maximum is about 100 watts. So this is definitely more than enough for your laptops, right? Or some cases, if you are using it to charge a power bank, I happen to have a Vention 45W power bank, right? So something like this, you might want to consider using the C1s, right? Where you can get the maximum charging output. How much power do I have? Let me see. Okay, this power bank is about 92 watt. So 92%, that means it's quite full. So because of that, you can't get the maximum charging simply because for these days, the smart charger, the output actually varied through the cycle of the device to be charged. So when you have lesser power, you tend to charge at higher output, right? When it's at higher power, it tends to trickle down the voltage, right? Trickle down the wattage, so you don't overcharge the device. So first reason I mentioned is form factor. Second reason is the thermal stability, right? So with a smart charger like this, you're actually able to monitor in terms of the temperature. Right now it's in a very safe zone, it's 31 degrees, right? So there's also the emoji that tells you that it's actually very safe, right? So a smart charger these days is important not just to have a huge amount of output, you also want to make sure that the charger like this has the right thermal stability. And this is very important, right? Let's say I'm using, I think I have here, this is a 200W power bank as an example. Let's say I use this. And if you're going to charge multiple devices with this, the charger will be pretty warm. And you want to make sure that when charging this, do you see the output? It goes all the way up. Because I've been using this power bank, it goes all the way to 63 watt with the two combined device together. So it's very important while charging high power device like this, thermal stability is very important. Right? On top of that, I think it's also important for you to know what is really the charging output for each of the devices and why. Let's just say that you're going on a holiday and you want to make sure that you bring the right cables. And these days, I've earlier mentioned that if you want to get the right charging, you don't just depend on the device, you don't just depend on the charger, it also depends on the cable. Right? So the ability to see the output, let's say in this case, I know C1 is charging at 18 watt and then C2 at 31 watts as an example. Let's just say that I happen to bring the wrong cable. Fortunately, I do not have any defective cable. So let's say you have a defective cable. Let's just say that this is a defective cable, right? So when I charge and it starts to show that there's zero output, and I know exactly, let's say for example I'm connected, let's just say I'm connected to this and this is a defective cable, right? And charging it, you're able to tell that, you know what, you can't get output simply because the cable is defective. Then it could be a different reason. It could either be the cable is defective or the connection is not done properly. So you connect it, and once you connect it, you have the visual that shows you, you know what, it's charging. This to me I think is very important, right? So ability to diagnose, ability to tell the output itself is definitely a very useful feature in terms of this kind of smart charger. And the fourth reason I think is the UI touch to it, right? You notice that for this charger, so in this case it's leaning to one side. If you want to rotate in a different orientation, let's say I say that I want to put it this way, you just press. Press and hold. You can toggle to the direction that matters to you, right? And the light press will be able to toggle in terms of the different screens. And let's just say that you like the emojis or you like the temperature sensor on perpetually. In this case, it's on perpetually because I've turned on the DSP continuous on. What you need to do is double tap if you want to switch it off. And after a short pause, the screen will turn off, right? If you want the screen to be continuously on, just double tap. Oh, sorry. Yep, it's on. So then you have the screen on, right? The UI is actually something interesting. You notice that I can't simulate every scenario simply because some of these scenarios, like when the charging gets too warm, too hot, I need to charge it for a while, right? It actually changed based on the different temperature and the charging output. So from the emojis, you're able to tell any issues. In fact, if the full screen is showing this angry face, it means something is not right. There's some kind of short circuit somewhere. What this means is that whenever there's any issue, you're able to tell from the charger any connection issue, any short circuit issue, or any other safety issue. To me, I think that's a very important consideration. So 4 reasons that I like about this: the size, the form factor, the thermal stability, the ability to diagnose, as well as all these cute emojis touch to it. This charger is not all perfect. I think there's some things that I hope can be done better. For example, this screen, one of the biggest, I would say, issue I've seen is that it tends to be a fingerprint magnet. You tend to leave your fingerprints everywhere. So I'm quite particular about this. So this screen itself, I think it would be better if it's a matte screen. Second, I think is that there is a total of 3 USB-C and 1 USB-A. And all 3 ports itself, the 2 of them are high powered. This is slightly lower. This is of course the lowest, which is the USB-A. I would hope that all 3 USB-C would have the same power, right? Able to achieve the auto balancing in terms of the 100 watts. However, I guess you can't achieve perfection with the right pricing, right? If you want to make sure that all of them able to achieve maximum of 100 watts for every single point, you probably need to pay a lot more. So I guess for the price point and even this, I think it's more than enough for most of my work itself. So you can use connecting, for example, 2 laptops or even 1 power bank, 1 laptop, 1 tablet, and then 1 other light devices, whether it's your watch, your smartwatch, or otherwise. So overall, I think it's very decent with this kind of performance. After testing this for probably about 2 weeks, I would say that this is definitely a good consideration for someone looking for a smart charger for your daily usage. That's it.